going to introduce him.
Okay, Calvin Castine behind the camera, or actually on the side of the camera. And we're at the Gerald Mayo residence. And I'm here to talk to 3 Legionnaires, and I'm going to find out why I'm here. I'll introduce. You're going to introduce everybody, Gerald?
Yep.
Okay, so I won't introduce anybody except Gerald Mayo.
Okay, hello folks. As Calvin said, my name is Gerald Mayo, and I've been a member of Post 767 for 59 years. The question that I'm asked is when I go downtown from a Legionnaire is, where are you now? You have no post, no home. Before we enter into discussion, on behalf of the 3 of us here, I would say thank you to Calvin, Hometown Table, for taking time and doing this little favor for us. I said that I will introduce shortly the 2 gentlemen to my right. Here with me first, his longtime friend, and graduated with him. I think the same class was in '79, wasn't it, our class?
Our class 49.
Oh, how about 49? You just told our age.
Just 3 decades off, Gerald.
Yeah. Is now serving as First Vice Commander.
Who is he?
And this is with great pleasure that I introduce a good friend, a First Vice of the American Legion in Champlain, Post 767, Mr. Donald Demers. And next to Donald is Mr. Alfred Strack. I got to know Al from his work with and his responsibility really for the donation that was made by the Harris Corporation. He made me work for it. I had to match him dollar for dollar. He would not give me that right out, but it was a good sum. He has served as post commander and serves as post treasurer right now. Al is a 60-year member. His service, he serviced the post well. He did everything. He did our bingo work. He did all that. Our post commander is Mr. William Tallman. He could not make this session because of prior commitment. He's a very good leader. He's one of our younger leaders. He is very knowledgeable in Veterans Affairs. Now, Alvin, I'm going to ask you to sort of ask questions as to what you think the Legionnaires would ask me walking on the street. You're a Legionnaire.
Okay. Well, I'm not a Legionnaire, but...
No, I know, but...
Okay, we're talking about, I think Gerald's mentioned it, Post 767 in Champlain. And was it a year or 2 years now? You sold your building. It's now known as Time After Time Receptions.
Yes.
And I believe when I was talking to Becky there that you're still holding your meetings there?
In the back room.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was part of your deal, that you would continue to have access for your meetings and such?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Al is saying yes, and Gerald is saying no.
Oh yeah, I'm...
Dom, you're
Yes,
the deciding
definitely,
vote.
definitely.
You're the deciding vote.
I say yes.
All right, 2-1. It's 2-1.
Getting to what you're saying, is what they come out and say, why did you sell the building?
Okay.
So I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer, Al. He knows the reason. He takes care of the books. He paid the bills. Al?
Well, for years, the American Legion has had the building up on Elm Street, and it was really the anchor for the entire post. We had all kind of activities, fundraisers, family activities, and the likes of this. But as time went on, our membership got a little older. We had more and more difficulty with fundraiser, having people being able to measure up to that task. And we operated a weekly bingo there that only paid about 50% of our operating expenses. The recent years, we would entertain a debt that we wouldn't overcome until about October every year, and the bingo would then have another month or two before we shut it down for the winter, and we couldn't put enough money aside to keep the building going during the current year. So we decided with much agony to that we had to get rid of the building. We just couldn't afford to keep it up anymore, particularly with the cost of oil. We are concerned that without that building as an anchor, many people might be thinking that the post is folding up. It definitely is not. We still have our annual membership. We still belong to the county and attend all activities that we can. The biggest problem we have right now is the lack of new members, younger members that have the capability of getting the activities going that Legion Post should have and must have in order to survive.
Okay, now I know that the building was certainly a vital part of the community. It served as a place of, I'm not sure what you'd call it, a shelter for during the flood of '96 and again during the ice storm. You had people in there every week. The Meals on Wheels, well, every day, I guess, 5 days a week, the Meals on Wheels was operated out of there, and it was the local place to eat. And you guys probably know a lot better than I the day-to-day activities or month-to-month activities that went on while you guys were operating it as a community outlet. I know the Scouts met there, and so
It was the hub of activities for the community, yes. There's no doubt in my mind. But you know, it's sad that I sit here and I'll give you a little bit of background as to how we got up to that building up on the hill that I so call. When I first joined the American Legion back in 1954, they met over the telephone company on the building. You remember where Margaret Senecal was?
okay, yeah.
Then the telephone company. Then there was a big room up there, the Legion was there. Then Mr. Foster Strickland had this home that Leo Rivet owns right now on Main Street. He met somebody, I think it was Claude Lavoie, and said, hey, I got a building, I'll sell it to you. So we sold it, they sold it, we bought it. And we had a hard time making money. We didn't know what to do. We played bingo at the Grange Hall. We did everything, and finally, what's his name? Bill Kennedy called upon one of our Legionnaires and said, "Look, I got that building up there. I'll sell it to you." He sold it to us rather cheap. And we put a lot of money in it. But like Al said, it was a shell, hard to keep, hard to heat. And I think we did the right choice. And to maybe champion Al's remarks on the activities that we had, yeah, you can name them. They were all to the Legion, you know, it's, and we were happy to do it. We were young, and that's what we're missing, Al said, the youngsters.
Yeah, well, about,
And to touch on membership, I want to make those people aware that you're getting your notices now. Please submit them in now, before January 1st, because what's happening?
We have not been told officially yet, but it is our understanding that the dues that we have to pay to both department, which is state, and national, will go up $5 after the first of the year. So up until that point, the dues are still $25 a year
per member?
per member, and it's our understanding they will go up at least $5.
Now, and a member right now is paying $25 annually? to be a member?
$25 annually.
And does any of that stay locally, or does it all go to the
No.
state and federal?
No,
No,
the last time there was a departmental raise in membership, we decided to put everything into the membership fee and send it to the department rather than keep any. If we would have kept some, we would have had to increase the membership fee beyond what we thought the members would accept.
Okay, so right now, you get your membership fee and you're sending it all out.
That's right.
So you have no operating budget at all.
That's right.
No, right. We depended entirely on bingo, and when that was inadequate, then we were starting to operate in the red.
We did have some parties, though, once in a while.
Oh, a wedding reception,
Wedding
or
receptions,
Yeah.
yeah.
a funeral reception,
Reception, joy.
or things like that, birthday parties or whatever.
Unfortunately, the auxiliary ladies who used to put on extensive parties, which was a moneymaker, are getting old, as we are, and they kind of declined the opportunity to put on more and more parties. They did operate the concession at the bingo for us, but as far as large parties, we really had to get them catered by the individuals that rented the hall. We operated the bar during that time. It was a licensed bar, but that was our only other income besides bingo.
Now, personally, my oldest recollections of the Legion go back to when you were on Main Street there and walking by the building when I was attending St. Mary's. And then later on, after I started at Sheridan, a guy named Albert Morelli said, "Won't you stop in and help us on Sundays and just hang around and help us chaperone the dances?" And for years and years, Sunday afternoons, all the teenagers were at the Legion at the Legion dance, and the Gem Tones were playing. In fact, Mary McCaffrey was back in town until about a week ago, and she was with the Gem Tones back then, and she sang at a group reunion at the golf club, and the people just went wild. All people in their 60s and they're acting like they were 16 again, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Legion has a proud history. They because I had helped out Albert, he knew I had a basketball team, and the Legion donated money toward that basketball team. So it's always been something I've held with great thanks that the Legion stepped up and helped me. But
Albert was good for the Legion at that time. He was a fireball. He knew where the money was in the young ones. Our teenage dance. Like you say, our Sundays, I had to either be there to sell the tickets as they come in, or, it was a chore, but we enjoyed it. We knew where the kids were, and we enjoyed it. You weren't around then, were you, Donald?
No, I was teaching down in Albany then.
See, he's one of those sophisticated Albany teachers. So we got to be careful. Right, Don?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I didn't know Don. Of course, Gerald I've known all my life. Most of my younger days, you were delivering mail to us, and Al has always been part of the community. But I didn't know Don till you moved back here after you retired, and through the VFW and so on, and also with the Legion, got to know you. Now, what does it take for an individual to become a member of the Legion? You can't just be a veteran.
I think mainly,
Don't you have to have served in times of war?
no, not necessarily. Do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
There are
about that.
times prescribed by Congress that are considered war years. It starts way back to the Civil War, but let's be practical and talk about today's there. World War II, Korean War, Vietnam,
Desert
Panama,
Storm.
Desert Storm.
Desert Storm. That's an open-ended one. All these are military dates that are considered eligibility.
Yeah.
You don't have to serve overseas, just be in the service
But it had to be during wartime.
during
Okay,
these
during
periods.
peacetime, I had 2 Legionnaires that they were after me constantly. Why? Why can't you let us in? Why can't? I couldn't.
There were
I
two
think
veterans.
one missed it by 2 days and the other one missed it by a week or a month or whatever. But they were both, they couldn't come forward. Yeah, Donald's in charge of our membership. He's first vice and he takes over whenever the commanders can't do his job. He's the one that steps in.
I've had a little experience there.
Now, anybody know how many members you've got right now in your group?
Al would know.
We have, last year we ended up with 78 members. Our goal was 90, but we lost about 6 to death rate, another 4 to transfers, and the rest didn't pay. There was about 3 members that didn't pay, so we had to drop them. But right now we're at, for the current year, we are at 78.
Okay, remember what your peak was? You must have been well into the hundreds at one time.
What?
Members?
Well, we had close to 300 at one time.
How many?
Almost 300 at one
Is that
time.
right? That was a little bit before.
200, I say 300, 278, 287. I could have those two, but that was our highest membership we ever had. And it was funny how to get members. This is what our problem is. And we
Big
do
problem.
have something for them if they, when they come to the meeting. We have what we started down at the Strickland home. We just hit on it by accident. There was a few cans of soup laying around, and then some crackers. And I forget who it was. He says, "Hey, why don't you sell that at meeting time?" So we made it available to the Legionnaires. They come and they pay 50 cents. They'd have whatever comes in that brown bottle and soup, and and that's how we got interested in luring them with food,
Uh-huh.
and it works. But right now is, I don't know, Al gets some big pizza or 2 every month, right, Al?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after World War II was the peak of eligibility,
Oh, yeah.
the number of veterans that were eligible, and that's when our membership really hit the high level.
Skyrocket.
Yeah, we were up there.
And Al, you're at the tail end of that World War II era,
Right.
and you guys are
Korean.
Korean
Both
War era.
Korean.
Yeah. So you've moved from your most likely ones being the World War II to the the most likely people now would be Korean,
Yeah.
Vietnam, and recent conflicts.
Yeah. If, at different events, we've asked the World War II veterans to stand up, and it's alarming to see how few people stand up.
Yeah.
It just, we've lost so many of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is why Gordy Little and I have been so happy to give all the recognition we can to those honor flights
Yeah.
that they're doing right now.
Yes.
Al, have you been down to the monument on your own?
I've been down to the monument several
All
years.
three of us went.
Okay.
Several years ago, the VFW, it wasn't the VFW venture, but through the VFW, we took a tour, a bus tour, some civilian, some veterans, and we went to all the monuments in Washington.
Okay. Gerald, you got somebody in your yard that you need to...
No. I'm watching how he picks up the garbage.
Oh, your garbage man is here, okay.
Yeah.
So you guys took the tour down there and you got to
Yes.
see all
Yeah.
that.
We
So
were
we-
down there, what, 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days, going to every monument.
And
Every-
and Arlington. We also went to Arlington
Yes,
and watched the changing of the guard and everything.
Uh-huh.
it was a very impressive tour.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what the honor flights are going through now. I didn't
They
sign up.
probably don't see as many as much as we did.
No.
but
Well, it's all within a few
can't
hours
expect
period.
that in
Yeah.
that little
Yeah.
time period.
And we also had the opportunity to go through the Capitol, which very few people get a chance to do. That was interesting too. I
Yes.
remember.
Yes, it was.
We walked through. We had to walk quite a distance for. At our age, we were a little bit younger then, but it was still quite a
A
tour.
lot of walking,
A
huh?
lot of walking. Yeah.
Okay. So you meet when?
First Tuesday of the month,
First
Any particular time or just...
7 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock?
Yeah, 6
Yeah, we normally
7
are,
Eastern.
we try to have pizza
They
or
pick
some
me
kind
up,
of
so I
snack.
don't know the time.
6 o'clock and
Yeah.
7 o'clock Central.
We normally try to have a snack at 6 o'clock. Gerald had been invited us up to his place here a couple of times, but most of the time it's in the back room at the Legion, and we buy pizza or something like that, and we have our meeting immediately following. They don't last very long. We don't have an awful lot of business to transact, but it's one way to keep the group together. We have maybe 9 or 10 people at every meeting. They're the same people that do all the chores when it comes to other activities as well. And the unfortunate part of it, I guess, it goes with any organization. You have a core of people that really step up to the plate.
Yes, well, just over the weekend, I was at the Champlain Village Fest and talking with the Pete Timmons, the fire chief, and you know, getting people to volunteer is getting tougher and tougher all the time,
Yes,
for no
it
matter
is.
what organization you're with.
Right.
Well, I think the problem, Calvin, is that the younger generation, most of them have to have 2 jobs in order to survive, and they just don't have the time anymore. They just can't do it,
Yeah,
which is too bad.
certainly. Joe, you're looking like you're reading your notes there feverishly. You got more
Yeah,
notes to share with us?
you were talking about the programs. We still support, what did we give to here? Just one of the programs that Bill brought up, we donated to. You know, if it's a Legion program, we have a few dollars, but we have to be very watchful of it because
It's not being replenished.
no. I know the question that's asked too is, are you looking for a building? Sure. Anybody got one to give us?
And heat for you. You got to heat. Got to heat
know?
that building too for you.
Yeah, that's, you know,
More than just getting a building. It's
For 5 months of the year, you gotta heat it.
right.
Yeah.
you got to heat it. And if it's a fixer-upper, we can't do it. 35 years ago, that man would have rebuilt it
Well, sure you would have.
with his left hand.
I know that.
And you know that. you know, our time has passed. We have to look to the young ones. I
So
beg
you're-
the young ones to come in.
So you're looking, purpose of us getting here is probably
Sending a
as much as
message.
and letting people know that you're actively looking for membership.
Yes,
Actively
Definitely.
looking for membership.
yes.
So
American Legion's got a lot of great programs for youth and community, but it takes membership to run them and to support it.
And our other problem is that we're getting old enough that we just sometimes can't do it. We have medical problems. Al has medical problems. I have certain medical
Not
problems.
me, I'm able.
And Al,
I'm ready for the
yeah,
army.
he has his share too.
Ah,
yeah, he's good enough for 2 or 3 people. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So that's a big problem too.
Sure. And, you don't like to think about it, but one of the advantages now, if there's a veteran who passes, even though they're not Legion members, do you still
oh yeah, and
honor them at,
if we can get the men.
Yeah.
In the past 5 or 6 years, we've been very active in honoring any veteran who passes away.
member
They
or
want
not?
a military funeral. We've been coordinating with the VFW, and between the two of us, the two organizations, we've been able to come up with proper firing squad, flag folding, and the likes of this. So it didn't have to be a member of either organization. We honored every veteran. Now the trend is more towards using reserves, because all the funeral director has to do now is to call the reserve unit for the particular branch of the service that the deceased was in, and they will send up a minimum of 2 people to conduct the military service. We still try to support those services with firing squad and the likes of that, although Roz's Point has a great uniform squad, and they've been taking over a lot of those for us.
Yeah. And that new invention of that bugle that plays automatically, that's
Oh,
What do you
what do you
mean?
wonderful
mean
invention.
automatically?
You're giving away our secret.
Yeah, the bugler. You see him up there
I see
blowing
him.
that bugle? How dare you?
Well, I tell you, our bugler has got a lot of compliment for the the tones that he put out.
I had one fellow, we were up in Glenwood Cemetery, and he says, boy, that guy can play the bugle.
But Sally's going to kill me for this, but Sally Smith, we had a funeral at the Ross's Point Cemetery, and Jim Troll acts as our bugler. And she's standing there, and I could see she was looking at the bugler, and when he got done, she says, you know, to Albert, she says, that's the first time I've ever heard taps played so nice. And Albert, and then Jim says, yeah, thank you. And then we told her, she says, oh boy. I said, hey, that's all right.
but it sounds just like a real bugler,
Yeah.
because it's a real bugler.
We're just
and it
making
sounds,
fun of you,
Yeah.
Sally.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's all right. So anything else that we need to know?
Well, if they have to write to us, write to P.O. Box 1533, Champlain, New York 12919.
1533,
Yes, that's P.O. Box.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay? Or they can contact any member.
Yeah.
Any member.
Yeah,
Right,
anybody.
right.
They contact me. All I have to do is get out of my truck and there's somebody there, which I like. We're active in the county. I have a county committee, and I think, Al, you have one too, don't you? Or
Not anymore. It used to be chaplain.
He used to be chaplain, and he messed that up. I don't know how, but things do happen. No, Al, it was a job. Al did a terrific job with it, and he set the footprint for the chaplains. Now the chaplains know what to do, because Al made sure that you got your cards out to the people, and you know all that he did, and we thank Al for that. But like it was getting a little bit much. Our commander Bill is county adjutant. And that is good for our post. It puts us up in the county level. We have no auxiliary. I think, Al, you mentioned that, didn't you?
They disbanded and went to Rouse's Point.
Yes.
We were disappointed that they decided to do that so early, but that was their choice. And so I'm sure they're a good addition to the Rouse's Point Auxiliary.
Okay, and that's post 912 out of Rouse's Point.
912, right.
They have a fantastic unit.
Yep.
I can bring you downstairs, which I am, and show you a picture of our outfit 30-some years ago. It was just as
Your
sharp.
outfit was just as sharp, yes.
Just as sharp. And out of a whole picture that I'm going to show you, there's 2 living.
In other words, we don't want to live in the past.
Right,
We've got to
That's
look
right.
towards the future.
right.
And if any one of us, if anybody is eligible or thinks they're eligible, contact any one of us. We're in the phone book.
Yep.
Be glad to talk to them and give them our eligibility dates more firmly than we've done here. And
When a lot of people think of veterans, they think of Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Now, you guys, the various posts in the area in the past several years have kind of banded together so you have joint services.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this last Memorial Day, everybody was tied up. And
Not everybody.
3 of us felt, were you with us, Donald?
I went to Rouse's Point and
Oh.
I participated in
Well,
a ceremony in Rouse's Point.
okay, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So I called up Al and we called the commander and we said, look, we got to do something. So we did. We went and we said the prayer, we raised the flag, we sounded the bugle on all the cemeteries, which I thought was nice on our part.
Yeah.
You know, I said, these people are getting recognized. We're not there to show off. We're there
Right.
to respect those people. And especially when I look around and I see Oral, Armand Cardin, Picard, you can go on and on and on. George Cookman, Ralph Cookman, Leon Dupy. It kills me.
Yeah. Yeah, when the roll is read at some of these gatherings and you say, well, 90% of those people I knew very well, and you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's,
and what's always bothered me the most at some of these Memorial Day services and Veterans Day services is that probably 95% of the people there are either
Connected to
connected to the post or auxiliary or whatever,
Right.
and the public just didn't
They
come
don't.
and take place. You
They
know,
don't show
They
up.
don't show up and pay their honor, and more people ought to do that.
Yeah, Albert Morelli was always after me to take a program and present it. And I have a program set up for a military funeral. What is it? What does it comprise of? You know, who, why is this done? There's 21 gun salute. What does that mean? Why do you fold the flag in a triangle? What does that mean? You know, all that. And one of these days, if the Pam McKeeble is part of it there in the morning there, they have that organization that's early in the,
Kiwanis?
early in the morning, 7 o'clock, I think. And I'm going to present it there because, and the biggest question on that is you won't believe, how did that flag get there? I went to the funeral home and they said it's all taken care of. How did he get it? You know?
Uh-huh.
And that's what they want to know. Do you
Right.
know how we get it?
How you get the flag?
Yeah.
Tell me.
There. First off, the veteran passes away. the family brings down to the funeral home a DD Form 214. What actually that is the Department of Defense Form 214. That is the history of the veteran.
Military history.
Right.
Yes, all of it. He takes that along with a death certificate and presents it to the postmaster. The postmaster has on hand one flag in a box. When he presents her that and it's deemed that it is, she'll take that flag and give it to him. She'll take this and send it down to Gunsfold. They'll send back up a flag to replace it. That's how you get the flag.
Okay, so it's done through the postal service?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You said, what's the post office got to do with it? That's postmaster's in charge of it.
Okay.
She's issued one flag. And like I say, that's the procedure. And folding of the flag, Al does a terrific job. He practiced more than I did.
We need members that
can
know
do
how
it.
to do it. Because Al and Gerald used to do it a lot.
Well, that's an easy training job.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about needing members for local purposes to strengthen our posts. It goes even further than that. Most of the benefits that the veterans receive now and continue to receive are due to the fact that various veterans organizations, the American Legion being the largest and probably the leader of them, have put pressure on Congress, congressmen, and the likes of this to ensure that veterans benefits are maintained on an annual basis. They still are very active in this role. And the American Legion at a national level is a very strong organization within the lobbying group at Congress for veterans' rights. So are other veterans organizations,
The Bill of Rights
VFW,
for the veterans.
and the likes of this. But altogether, it is the veterans organization that force support of the VA benefits.
So when you're joining the Legion, you're adding to the number that these people are representing, and that gives them more credibility when they're there in front of these people. And saying,
Absolutely.
I'm representing
Absolutely.
all of these veterans. So,
Right.
so the more membership you have, and it's also going to cost that members 25 or 30, but they're ensuring their rights.
Strength is in numbers.
Right.
You know, that's...
I wanted to bring something up, Calvin. I don't know if this is the proper place to do it, but
We'll find out shortly.
yeah, right. I feel that our government is not hearing the voice of the average people in this country right now. All your politicians tend to be millionaires, and they have no idea what's going on with the average class people. And I think it's pathetic that this is happening to America, the country we fought for and we're willing to die for. And this is what I would like to say.
Well, I think it's embarrassing when you look at these people who are coming back from wars now, and they're missing limbs, and they've had all this trauma, and they're being forgotten about. So there's so many organizations are working for their benefit to help them out.
But to
Yes.
support Al, the VA was formed because of the American Legion. You know, that's the Veterans Administration was established. The GI Bill of Rights for the veterans was also. We are asked to get involved in politics, but not in the way that people think it is. If it's a program that we think is a good program, yes, we'll write our congressman and say, on behalf of the veterans, we feel you should support this program. That's not political.
Right, but you're not endorsing one candidate or another. You're urging
That's
that candidate or that
Would you-
politician, that elected official, to support your project.
It is
right.
stated in our Constitution that we cannot dwell into politics at local meetings or anything else. We cannot endorse candidates.
You cannot use the logo of the American Legion on anything. Because the logo of the American Legion, that's another subject that should be, is the emblem of the American Legion. It when you look at it, it doesn't look like much, but it's every one of these rings and ray of sunshine and all that make up the American Legion. It's in parts. I don't know them all, but it's very interesting.
So everything on there has a purpose.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your number just before we sign off here. 767. Now, post 20 is in Plattsburgh.
Right.
Is it in the state? Does it go by order from when your post was established?
The numbers?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know the answer to that
Yes.
question.
The lower the number means you were
Sooner established.
up.
Right.
Yes.
And that's statewide,
Right.
so it's not
And
nationwide. Your number's not
Every
nation-
state has is numbered.
Right,
So you can go in the state of Arizona and find post 20,
right.
but that's not.
You may not find a 767 because maybe they didn't get up that high, but you got to go get
Oh,
a
yes.
post 20
There's 912. There's 1619.
in
which
every state.
is West Plattsburgh.
No, I'm talking about in every state.
Every
Some of the
state.
smaller states,
No.
you may not get that
Oh, that's
high a
true.
number.
That's true. Vermont would be one.
Right.
The Legion is organized by local, community, district, and department. Department being state. Then it jumps to national.
Okay. So again, if people are interested, or if they know a veteran who should be interested, you can contact any one of these guys.
Right.
Or any other Legion member. You meet 6 o'clock. When?
First Tuesday of the month.
First Tuesday of the month.
You remember that, Donald?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Now, okay,
I don't miss any meetings.
so that doesn't conflict with Election Day or anything else, right? Because I think we vote on the second Tuesday.
No, we hold our meetings on this. No, we don't
First-
care about elections or what they
And-
are. We still have our meetings.
And right now, you're still meeting at your former post
Yes.
In the back
on
room,
Elm
which
Street.
we call the back room.
Downstairs in the
Yeah,
back toward
right.
the river. And you mentioned buying that years ago from the Kennedys, and of course that was a movie theater.
Yes.
And they just built what became the Knights of Columbus, and that was the new Lyceum, and that was the old Lyceum, so
Yeah.
it's available.
Jesse Walker was the one that was the. Him and Bob Dumont were the, let's say, the ringleaders as to us purchasing that theater.
Okay, Bob Dumont, his building just fell down about 2 years ago.
All right.
The
Yeah.
former meat locker. And Jesse Walker, his son Neil, is my mailman right now, so he's taking your place,
Yeah.
Gerald. So
Yeah, he wears his. I know it's Neil because all I have to do is see the hands that are coming out. These blue hands.
yeah, he wears
Yeah.
plastic gloves.
Yeah, that's. Those two there got together. We stole the building, Al, for that amount that we paid for it. It wasn't. We just about.
I don't know what we paid for
I
it,
do.
but we didn't make a fortune. We had difficulty finding a buyer.
Oh, when
so
you're
we
selling
so-
it.
Eh?
What you're talking about, Gerald was talking about when you bought it. now
Bought
you're
it.
talking about when you
Oh.
sold it.
Yeah.
He was,
Yeah, we bought it from Bill Kennedy.
Right, so he had difficulty selling it? You're saying,
No.
Al?
Well, we had
Yeah, you're right,
difficulty
right. You're
selling.
talking the other end, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to ask too about. Doesn't seem that long ago, but it's got to be well over 20 years ago that you put up that nice little monument park there, and those monuments are still there. Is that
Al will
what's going
answer
to happen
that.
to those quarter century down the road?
The agreement, Becky owns that along with everything else, but she has graciously allowed us to maintain the monument and keep the flags up.
Okay.
So it's their property, but we're maintaining it for general use.
Okay, and of course Bill Rye. We got to mention Bill Rye, who was so
Yeah, he
instrumental with his
He put the
masonry skills.
brick by
Yeah.
brick.
Yeah.
Clifford Willett is the one that designed it on a computer,
Uh-huh.
and Gerald Mayo was the one that went to Canada and got loaded with bricks on his truck. And I was bringing bricks back and forth because I couldn't take that many. I didn't realize those bricks were that heavy.
Kind of heavy. It's like,
When they'd come and they'd say, well, you better take just that half a pad. Oh, gee, that ain't that very high. I take it whole half a pad and you'd see the truck
Yeah.
go down. Whoa.
yeah.
And I was happy to do it. We had a lot of fun. Like I say, got to get those young ones active. If they get together once in a while and they get the feeling of camaraderie between each other, I think they could make a good go of it.
Okay.
You
So what the bottom line is here, the American Legion Post 767 is looking for an infusion of young blood.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's one person,
Right.
and
Definitely.
if you're male or female and you've served and you're eligible for serving in the time of war, then you're eligible to join the Legion, and these people are waiting with open arms. So at least, if you're eligible, at least find out
Yes.
and decide for yourself after you get all the facts.
Right.
You may decide at the end, well, it's not for me, but at least put that effort in and find out and talk to these guys. And
I have something to say, Al. We would be willing to pay their membership to start with if they would join.
that first year,
Yeah,
okay,
even to get somebody in, right?
Right. We, right now, pay membership for all active service people with the hope that when they come home, they will become a member.
so they're in the community. If they're in the community and somebody gives
Right.
you guys their name,
Yes.
then you'll. So when they come out, they're already members of Post
Yes.
767, and you're hoping that they'll continue on their own.
Right.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Anything else before
But
we
it's
get?
like Donald says. They're a young family. They need two jobs. The wife works. The husband works. Different hours, It's a whole different world out there than when we started. We had a home to come to. We had homes. We had the families. We didn't have to have two jobs and all this, but it's hard.
Yeah.
And I hope the young ones, I beg them to come. You've got a good leader, Bill there, young Bill. He's a Marine, former Marine, isn't
Just
he?
how young
Yeah.
is this young guy?
Hmm?
Just how young is this young guy?
Oh, he's going to be.
72?
Oh, come on.
Those people are young, but no, he's 35, 40.
Oh, okay.
To us, that's real young.
Yeah, that's a kid. 70 is young.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be in your upper 70s like these guys.
No.
You can,
70s, guys, we passed that a long time ago.
but you can as long as you're eligible. So get a hold of these guys and find out if it's something that you want to be involved in.
There's so many programs. There's oratorical, there's Boy Scouts, there's baseball, there's you name it. If a guy could come up with 14 young men, young boys that wanted to play baseball, we
We'd have
could
the baseball
sponsor 'em.
team. I played on Legion teams in Champlain for years.
There you go. And look how good you turned out.
Yeah. He caught the ball on the wrong foot.
I made some sensational catches out there.
Oh, he
Didn't
was
lose his hat anyway.
No, I didn't lose my hat either.
he was Mickey Mantle in disguise.
Oh, too bad hometown cable wasn't active back then, Don.
All right.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank
I'll
you.
wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Calvin.
very much.
Thank you, Calvin.
We got almost 50 minutes of this, so let's hope that somebody was listening. Thanks for doing this, guys.
well,
I know.
Yep, we